I know I do YouTube a lot. I do YouTube on my driving anxiety, and then I do YouTube. I got a little YouTube on Georgia football. And then, of course, I do drive. I've done YouTube on my spinal cord, neck, and anxiety problems. I've done some YouTubes like that. But you know something? If I could do a YouTube that I would really, truly enjoy, it would be called Tim's Tech Talk. Tech Talk. I like talking about, oh, I was looking for my phone. There it is. I'm making a video. You know, I like to do videos talking about technology gadgets, stuff like cell phones, iPads, tablets, computers, whatever, anything tech. I like to do a YouTube on that. There are like several people on YouTube that does tech talk shows like that, and I watch and I love watching them things, and I love looking at the specs and stuff like that. You know, it's like Apple's coming out with a new iPad, and they're coming out with a 7th generation iPad, and it looks no different than the 6th generation one that come out in 2021. But what's the difference? It's not the outside, because they both look the same. The difference is what's underneath the hood. And what's underneath the hood is what I like to talk about. If I could do another YouTube channel, I wish there was a way I could do a YouTube channel called Tim's Tech Talk and do like some of these people do, talk about technology stuff. That would be a fun YouTube for me to do, because I love talking about stuff like this. But this one right now is going to be called Tim's Tech Talk, because I want to talk to you about Apple's new thing here. Apple's got a new Mac Mini coming out right now. You know, one thing that Apple does, it's actually pretty smart. Apple will let you trade in. They even trade in Windows computers. Believe it or not, they trade in. Apple will trade in a Windows computer. They'll even trade in an Android device. But they let you trade in stuff. And when you buy an Apple device, the thing about it is this: when you buy an Apple device, the more the device is worth in money, the more trade-in value you get down the road. In other words, if you buy the top-notch iPad Pro, 4 years from now, when it comes time you want to get another device, you want to upgrade, you're going to get a lot more for your money, because the thing is worth more money. So when you buy the cheaper stuff, the thing about it is down the road, you're not going to get as much money, because, why, it's cheaper. So keep that in mind, I guess, when you're buying Apple stuff. It's just people like me can't afford the top-notch iPad Pro device, because it's what? Let's see how much money that thing. Well, I'm looking at it right here, right now. The 11-inch, oh my God, is like $1,000. See what the Pro is. Oh man, the Pro is $1,300. Ain't no way from my wallet. I wished. If they could break the payments down low enough on $1,300, but doggone, then you got to pay the taxes on that up front, which is $130. I don't even have the money to pay the taxes, but they had the, somehow I could figure out a way to pay the taxes, and they had the payments low enough, $25 a month, but that'd take forever to pay $1,300 back, so that ain't a good idea. But anyway, Apple's coming out with a new Apple's coming out with a new iPad Mini. And I'm looking at the specs here right now. They're going to have the A17 Pro chip. The A17 Pro chip with 8 gigs of RAM. Hold on, let me look up the specs on that just a minute. Give me just a second here. I'm trying to look up iPad Mini, please. Let's do this again. Why is it not working? Okay, there it goes. Now it's working. iPad. Okay, online here, they don't, on this place online here, they don't have the specs yet for the new iPad, but I've got the old specs of the one that came out in 2021. But let me look something up else. Let me look up the iPhone 15. Give me a second. iPhone 15 Pro, because by looking this up, it's going to tell me this, because the new iPad coming out is going to have the same CPU as the iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max. It's the same thing. So I'm going to compare. Let me tell you something here. See, you can look at the iPad mini two different ways. You can look at it as the smallest iPad, a tiny iPad, or it's 8.3 inches. The iPad can link up to your iPhone and become just like your phone. What do I mean by that? It will link up and pair up to your phone to where you can do all your texting, you can do all your FaceTiming, and you can even use it as a phone. It'll work as a phone as long as you got another iPhone to link it up to. So basically, if you get an iPad mini, it's an 8.8 inch phone when you have another iPhone to link it up to. So basically, you'll have two phones on one line. If you get the iPad mini, you'll have a whatever the other, like I got the iPhone 14 Pro, so I've got the, so if I'm not getting the device, but I'm just saying, if I was to get the iPad mini, the 7th gen, that means I have two devices on one phone line, both devices working the same as far as texting, FaceTime, and calling, because you can link them up together. Now, when you make the actual phone call, when you dial the number, you have to do it on your iPhone, but then you send the connection over to your iPad. It's just like a phone. So you can look at the iPad two different ways. You can look at it as the tiniest iPad, or you can look at it as the largest phone, 8.3 inch phone. I look at it like I look at it glass half full, 8.3 inch phone. But you know what? Now let me look at the specs here a minute before I talk about that. Everything's going to be the same, but what's the difference? It's going to have the newer iPad is going to have a better Wi-Fi. It's going to have the Wi-Fi 6E. I think it's called 6E. It's the one better. It's going to have better Wi-Fi connection. It's going to have better Bluetooth connection. It's going to go from 5.0 to 5.3. This is how you're getting a better device from the 6th generation from 2021. So you're getting a better Wi-Fi connection. You're getting a better Bluetooth connection. May even get a better sound. I'm not sure about the sound yet. You're getting the same size, but the CPU power is going from a A15 chip to a A17 Pro chip. So both of them are 6 cores, but one of them is the older model was a 2.93. The newer model is a 3.78. So it's going from a 2.43 gigahertz to a 2.93 gigahertz to a 3.7. So it's going to be faster. Not only that, the newer one's going to have a 6-core GPU, whereas the older version had a 5-core GPU. And not only that, the older version came standard with 4 gig of RAMs. The newer one's going to have twice that, 8 gig of RAMs. The newer one's going to be able to have Apple Intelligence. The newer one is going to start out at 128 terabytes on the hard drive, whereas the old one started out half that, 64. So you are getting a better device. You know what I think Apple ought to do I think this would be a good idea. Apple, you're listening? I don't know if this is a good idea, Apple, but if it is, this is from me. I think they ought to take the iPad mini and make 2 versions of it. I think they ought to have the iPad Mini and the iPad Mini Pro. And what they should do with the Pro is, like, they're coming out with the iPad Mini right now. A few months down the road, they'll come out with another version of the iPad Mini called the iPad Mini Pro. Basically, fix it just like the way the phones are from the Plus to the Pro Max. You know what I'm saying? Maybe instead of it being an 8.3 inch screen, have it a 9-inch screen. Have it, instead of a 64 hertz, have it 120 hertz. Have a better camera. You know what I'm saying? I think if they come out right now with the Mac Mini the way they're doing, and then a couple of months down, wait a couple of months, because give people a chance to buy the Mac Mini. I'm sorry, I said Mac Mini. I say words wrong like that sometimes. The iPad Mini. Give people a chance to buy the newest iPad Mini now. But I think a couple months from down the road, Apple will come out with the iPad Mini Pro and basically make it just like they do the phones. They have an iPhone, then they have an iPhone Pro. Make a more better version of it. Instead of it being $500, make it like $700. But that's just my idea, Apple. If you like that idea, I hope you do. Anyway, this is Tim Tech Talk Show. I just thought I'd share my ideas on here, what I think about the new iPad Mini. Thanks for watching.